Morning on UMTV. We are live at Mahoney Pearson Residential College as we celebrate its legacy of housing UM students for decades coming to an end.
Without this building, I wouldn't have my best friend.
And another giant step for mankind as the Artemis mission completes its flyby around the moon. And later, we will introduce you to one Canes baseball player who has become a hero to many, overcoming serious diseases.
There was a tumor on his pituitary gland.
All these stories and more on UMTV this morning. Good morning, Miami. Welcome to UMTV This Morning, a special UMTV presentation. I'm Shay McDonald.
And I'm Penelope Gilbert. We have a great show for you today.
And Penelope, it starts right here on campus as the university gets ready to say goodbye to an icon.
Since 1958, almost 80,000 students have called Mahoney Pearson Residential College home. Now, the university announced the building will be torn down this summer, and this week has been one of celebration.
Right now, Vivian Amoya joins us live from the Mahoney Pearson Residential College with more. Vivian.
By the summer, this view is going to look completely different. An X marks the spot, literally. As you can see behind me, construction workers are preparing to tear down the trees outside of Mahoney Pearson Residential College. This marks the end of an era. The two buildings share the same corner of campus, the same community, and the same stories from freshman year of college. But they share a very different history. Mahoney Hall was the first of the two as it was completed in 1958. What was originally an all-male residential hall became co-ed in the early 70s. The building was dedicated to Daniel J. Mahoney, the late publisher of the Miami News and chairman of the Board of Trustees. Pearson Hall was originally opened in 1962, but became a residential college in 1987. In 1969, it was named after scientist J.F.W. Pearson, who was the second president of UM and one of the first faculty members. Pearson played a big role in the development of the library and medical school. The rich history is often overlooked, but the memories students make in these residential halls remain a part of their identity here at UM.
Without this building, I wouldn't have my best friends and I wouldn't have my family, like I said. Whether this building is rubble next year or whether it's Gables Village, the new place that they're making it, we're always going to come back to it. I know I'm always going to come back to it and just remember all the memories I had here.
All week long, celebrations will be going on here, and a farewell festival is happening later tomorrow afternoon to honor the legacy of these buildings. By mid-2029, new dorms will be built in place called Gables Village. Gables Village will feature 2 towers with a connecting ground floor, giving it that nostalgic feel with a modern makeover. Live from Mahoney Pearson Residential College, Vivian Amoya, UMTV.
Thank you, Vivian. Man, a lot of great memories over in Pearson. Lived there freshman year, and you gotta miss it.
Absolutely. I lived in Mahoney, and seriously, it made me who I am today.
Definitely helped on a early morning like this walk into the studios.
For sure, and on a busy morning like today, I definitely could use some coffee, but actually not far from campus is a coffee shop that brings Cuban culture to life.
Jessica Valdez and Emma Baeste visited the cafe to learn the art behind the one and only Cafecito.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma Balleste.
And I'm Jessica Valdez, and we're here at Tinte Cafe, which is a Cuban cafe shop right here in Coral Gables.
And Jess, today we're going to learn how to make the perfect Cuban cafecito. And for those of you who don't know, it's coffee.
I'm so excited. Let's see what they have for us. Let's go on in.
Let's go.
Since 2005, this local favorite has been bringing Miami's Ventanita culture, those walk-up windows for quick cafecitos, to life, becoming known for some of the city's best Cuban coffee.
First up, you always start with your espresso. Our brand of coffee is Golden Bush Coffee. It's a special collab roast they have. It's a special dark roast they have for Tinta. You're gonna pour your espresso first.
A little fancy machine.
I know.
Oh, it's real fancy.
And need to tell my abuela about this.
I know the Cuban abuelas always.
Oh my God, they love the cafecitos.
Oh yeah.
Then you stamp it in, make sure it's nice.
That makes sure it's compact.
Yeah,
Okay.
make sure it's compact. Pop it up here. And then for cafecito,
Yeah.
always the sugar is the most important part. For
Can we try
sativa.
pouring it maybe?
Yeah, if you want. Take
Okay.
half of the teaspoon right here.
Half of the teaspoon.
Pour it in.
Like this?
Yeah, just dump it in there.
How do you know it's the perfect amount of sugar?
We have them specially like half for this one, extra for the big
Okay.
cafe con leche.
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna melt the espresso right on top of
Oh, that means
it. That way.
it's caramelized. Oh yeah.
Blend it in there, let it melt in there nice.
Exactly.
Get a cup.
Oh wow. So is this one shot of espresso?
This is a double shot.
Okay, a double shot of
is a
espresso.
double
Is this
shot.
your most popular?
This, I would say, most popular for sure. Everyone coming by and they're like lunch breaks and everything.
Yeah.
A quick, like even when they're on lunch, like they're after they're done, a quick like pick me up to finish
Keeps you
their
going for the
meal.
rest of the
Yeah.
day.
And who taught you how to make this coffee?
Sachi herself, Carlos, the owners of the restaurant, yeah, they're super like involved with the coffee process.
Can you want
Yeah.
to try mixing it?
Yeah, mix in the
Make it
espresso, make sure it's nice and blended in there. And you just dump it right in here.
Wow.
Just crema on the top. We can even give it a try. See if you
All right,
like
take a
it.
sip.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Is it good?
Oh my gosh. I
Wait.
can take on the entire day now.
She is ready to conquer.
Wow, do you want some?
Okay, ready? Cheers. It's a perfect cup of
It's a double
espresso.
shot.
And I have a question. Are you Cuban? Because you just made a perfect cup of
I mean,
cafecito.
I'm specifically not Cuban. I'm as gringo as it gets. But they taught me the Cuban way, so you know, I'm Cuban by heart.
We even stepped behind the ventanita and served cafecitos.
Order for Juliet. Hi. Of course, have a nice one.
And then we ordered our cafecitos through the ventanita.
Because this is how Miami wakes up.
Yeah, we'll put some for the table. Yeah. Jess, now that we know how to make the perfect cafecito,
And we got it iced.
ready for lunch?
Let's dig in.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks, ladies. Shifting gears now, tensions overseas continue to affect oil supply. Gas prices across the United States are being pushed higher, and students too are feeling the impacts. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says that even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens, fuel prices could keep rising for months. The average national gas price was $4.14 a gallon as of Tuesday, which is a $1.16 increase since the start of the Iran war in February. Officials say this is adding to the affordability crisis in the U.S.
Life has become more expensive as a result of gas prices skyrocketing across the country, further exacerbating an affordability crisis that are crushing everyday Americans, middle-class Americans, and working-class Americans throughout the land.
South Florida drivers are definitely feeling that pain at the pump. In the past week, the area has seen a 23-cent increase for 1 gallon of gas, and that is only expected to grow.
Rising gas prices and other costs of living have led to more people facing food insecurity nationwide. According to Feeding America, more than 15% of Miami-Dade County, as about 430,000 people, are considered food insecure. As Amanda Muhammad tells us, one local nonprofit is working to make sure nobody goes hungry.
Once a month, 73-year-old Dorlyn Dean waits outside the South Miami Children's Clinic to step onto this bus. But she's not traveling anywhere. Clients of Caring for Miami's mobile food market are stepping on board for food accessibility.
This helps you make a decision whether or not I can make it to the food store or whether or not I have to spend it on utility.
And that's a choice millions of people face in the United States every day. Founded by the Christ Fellowship Church in 2009, Caring for Miami aims to meet the needs of under-resourced communities in Miami-Dade County.
Last year alone, we served over 5,000 families, and that roughly translates to about 15,000 individuals.
The latest inflation report shows a 3.4% increase in wholesale prices compared to February of last year. And now grocery prices continue to rise, with vegetables jumping 50% and fruit 10%, making demand for food pantries even higher, especially in areas called food deserts and food swamps.
A food desert is an area that has either no access or very difficult access to a regular grocery store. A food swamp is when there is a high concentration of fast food chains, but there's no Publix, there's no Fresco.
Operating 5 days a week in a different city each day, the mobile market serves up to 250 families per week. Volunteers guide every client through the bus to select food items, then get their groceries bagged once they step off. For residents like Dorlin, this bus doesn't take her somewhere. It brings what she needs home.
I'd rather come here and have a nice full stomach and a healthy meal than to be sitting inside pretending I don't need it.
And thanks to Caring for Miami, there's no need to pretend.
Thank you.
Amanda Muhammad, UMTV.
Another organization is helping South Florida firefighters fight battles away from the flames. Ariel Lopez explains.
A firefighter, a father, and a member of a 3-generation fire family. But for years, Eric Johnson found himself battling something unknown.
I felt tired, I felt weak, and that's not like me.
This 20-year veteran of the Hialeah Department ignored the symptoms, like many firemen do, until one appointment changed everything.
He said, Eric, you're, and he just froze. And I said, look, what is it? He goes, you're full of cancer.
The firefighters are actually have increased risk to many different kinds of cancer, certainly higher than the general population.
Eric quickly learned that risk comes from repeated exposure to toxins like arsenic, cadmium, and chromium, even in the gear meant to protect them.
Firefighters on a fire ground bring hazardous materials back with them on their gear, in the equipment, in the trucks themselves, right back into the fire station.
And for Eric, those contaminants affected him greatly. He endured aggressive chemotherapy with months of treatment. But the cancer that nearly broke him physically found a powerful foe.
I had encouragement and support from all over the nation. And without that, I don't think I'd be here today.
Now, others join forces to make sure more firefighters never reach that point.
Unless you can create the why for people, a lot of times people won't do anything. The why is, this is the insane amount of young people that are dying in this fire service.
Lives remembered one by one, and inspiring action. In 2017, firefighters from all over Florida walked from Key West to Tallahassee to fight for legislation to cover insurance for 21 cancers.
A guy named Ton Bullhill was walking the state, and he was collecting the names. PATs, helmet shields, badges, sometimes the ashes of firefighters as he walked north, and this band was strapped to Bull's pack.
For Eric Johnson, his greatest legacy may not come from the lives he rescued from the flames, but the ones he now fights to protect. Ariel Lopez, UMTV.
Thank you, Ariel, and a great story to start off. It looks to be a pretty good day outside right now.
Absolutely. Hoping for some nice weather going into this week, but let's hear from our meteorologist, Ann Badowski. Ann, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, that sunshine that we're waking up to right now might be a little bit misleading. You can see that we have a lot of thunderstorms that are off the coast of Miami. Right now, we do have a lot of that sunshine, but that rain is going to be pushing into the area a little bit even right now that we're going to be seeing as we head throughout the rest of the day today. We're even in a flood watch from the National Weather Service. You can see this area of green. We're going to be having some rainfall above what we'd normally be expecting. 1 to 2 inches widespread, some spots even seeing up to 5 inches of rain just today. As for our rain chances, though, once again, that sun is a little misleading. We have those 15%, but as we head into the rest of the day around dinner time, that's when those thunderstorms and those heavier rain chances are going to be a lot more likely and can put a damper on any plans that you have outside. You can see that we have those thunderstorms, those intense thunderstorms in Miami around 4:30 this afternoon. That theme is going to stay with us as we head into Thursday as well. More of that widespread rain, but by the time Thursday afternoon and Friday morning hits, much clearer conditions. That's going to be the time to get outside and make sure that you enjoy some of that sunshine while conditions are staying clear. Up until that point, though, we could be seeing up to 5 inches of rain of accumulation as we head into Saturday, as you can see. More likely that we're going to have around 2 to 3 inches over the next few days here in Coral Gables, but definitely something to keep an eye on, especially with those more extreme rainfall rates when flooding is so common here. But luckily, as we do head into the weekend, that means that those conditions are going to be a lot drier. You might even be refreshed as you're waking up in the morning with those lower dew points that we're going to be seeing as we head into Monday and Tuesday, 60 degrees. So definitely something to look forward to, especially once that sunshine does return back to Miami. As for our 7-day, though, you can see those rain chances today and tomorrow. As we head into early next week as well, we do have those lower precipitation values, and the temperatures are staying absolutely comfortable as well. With hurricane season still a month away, William DePaula tells us it is never too early to prepare.
Hurricane season looms over a month away, but in Miami, preparation starts long before the first storm forms. With millions living along the coast and thousands more moving in every year, emergency officials say awareness needs to be the city's first line of defense.
So hurricanes, you can have, of course, the wind hazard, and that's what a lot of people think of. Along our coast, the storm surge hazard. That's the reason why evacuations are issued in South Florida for hurricanes. You also have flooding and rainfall, and then also tornadoes.
With all of these hazards in play, knowing what to do when a hurricane approaches becomes extremely important. It is never too early to start preparing for impact.
If a hurricane was 3 or 4 days away, what would you need? And get that now. Find water, find the food you like, and also the canned foods, you can buy stuff you like.
Luckily, being away from the coast, the University of Miami does not need to worry about direct coastal impacts. But Miami continues investing in mitigation, from higher seawalls to restored mangroves. Even with improvement, water remains the deadliest part of any storm.
But the reality is 90% of the way people lose their lives in hurricanes during the event drown due to storm surge flooding, rip currents offshore, or flash flooding from rainfall. So water is the villain.
And while Miami hasn't seen a direct hit from a major hurricane in decades, experts warn that history shouldn't create complacency.
Miami's on borrowed time. And the reality is we live in a vulnerable place in South Florida. We have seen the strongest hurricanes in history. You know, we've just been lucky.
Despite it having been over 30 years since Miami was last directly impacted by a hurricane, experts continue to encourage everyone to remain aware and be ready, because our lucky streak will not last forever. William DePaula, UMTV. Thank you, Will. And coming up this morning is ceasefire has been reached between the U.S. and Iran. We'll have more on the terms when we come back.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains.
There's no sparks.
But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
On Monday, President Trump agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with Iran, just before his deadline for a major escalation of the war was set to pass. Both the Trump administration and the Iranian regime claimed the victory after the deal was reached, but questions remain about the details of the agreement and what comes next. Key to the temporary ceasefire agreement between Iran and the U.S. is the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says its military will coordinate passage through the strait, through which millions of barrels of crude oil and refined fuel travel every day. The waterway is also a key part of the global supply chain for many different goods. Shortly after President Donald Trump announced he'd agreed to the ceasefire, missile attacks were reported in Israel and across the Gulf region. An official said the U.S. military paused strikes on Iran. But according to an Israeli military spokesperson, Israel was still carrying out strikes as of late Tuesday.
Some have expressed concerns over details reported about the ceasefire deal. Former Republican Congress member Adam Kinzinger writing, quote, "Good Lord, if we cede control of the Strait to Iran and agree to reparations, this will be the biggest humiliation in American history." Democratic lawmakers saying the ceasefire isn't enough.
Well, a 2-week ceasefire is insufficient. We need a permanent end to Donald Trump's reckless war of choice.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries again calling for Congress to rein the Trump administration in.
House Democrats have demanded that Speaker Mike Johnson immediately reconvene the House back into session so we can move a war powers resolution.
Iran is claiming victory as the country's Supreme National Security Council tells Iranian state media that it forced the U.S. to accept its 10-point plan. A senior White House official said Israel had also agreed to stop its bombing campaign while talks continue.
An American journalist held by a pro-Iran militia in Baghdad, Iraq, has been released. Shelley Kittleson was taken in by the Iraqi government, which is now working on her travel arrangements. Kittleson was kidnapped last Tuesday in Baghdad by the group Kataib Hezbollah. The security chief for the pro-Iran group said it agreed to release her on the condition that she leave the country immediately. A U.S. official said the U.S. government had been working with the Iraqis to secure Kittleson's release. Kittleson specializes in Middle East reporting and contributes to the Al Monitor news organization.
And switching gears now, we have a new record. The Artemis 2 astronauts have traveled the farthest distance from Earth, completing their journey to the dark side of the moon. On Wednesday last week, the 4-person crew launched on its 10-day moon mission, marking humanity's return to space for the first time in over 50 years. This Artemis 2 mission builds on the first one in 2022, testing the capability of the spacecraft to support human life. After orbiting Earth several times, followed by a 4-day journey to the moon, the Artemis 2 astronauts reached that target yesterday. And as the crew heads back to Earth now, they are sending some stunning, never-before-seen photos of the moon, including an Earthrise, a total solar eclipse, and an unprecedented view of the moon's mysterious far side. A ship-to-ship call from Orion to the astronauts aboard the International Space Station was full of emotion.
Right before you launched, you said you can't wait to talk to us on the space to ground, and it is happening, brother. I cannot believe it.
The crew as they surpassed Apollo 13's distance record set in 1970 by roughly 252,000 miles. Artemis 3 is expected to launch in the middle of next year to test the flight in low Earth orbit. And in 2028, Artemis 4 is set to land on the moon.
And staying in space, 2 University of Miami physicists may have made a universe-altering discovery, finding evidence of a black hole born at the very dawn of time. Last November, one observatory in Louisiana detected an invisible ripple in space produced by 2 colliding black holes. Remarkably, one of those objects carried a mass smaller than our own sun, a feat that no known force in the universe can produce naturally. Now, University of Miami astrophysicist Nico Capilouti and graduate student Alberto Magaraggia have built a mathematical model suggesting the object is a primordial black hole formed seconds after the Big Bang.
There is no way that we know from the physics of stellar evolution to form these small black holes. So the most plausible solution is that at least one of them was a primordial black hole.
Confirmed, the discovery could potentially solve some of outer space's greatest mysteries. Dr. Capilouti and Magaraggia are still waiting to receive confirmation from the observatory on the black hole's existence. For the time being, the renowned astrophysical journal plans to publish their study, which originated right here at the University of Miami.
We'll take a short break now, but coming up after the break on the morning show, live music in the School of Communication courtyard, courtesy of the Frost School of Music band called Molotov Mocktails. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow and use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A's for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep, V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Hey, boss. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that, make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at, where you at, on the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Pop.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Stepping outside to the University of Miami Communications Courtyard, we have the pleasure of welcoming the Frost Music Band Molotov Mocktails to bring some high energy and good tunes to your morning. Take it away, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll hear more from Molotov Mocktails later, but after the break, the mayor of Coral Gables will be joining us live in studio. Don't go anywhere.
If kids start vaping,
And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course, I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow and use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Good morning and welcome to the UMTV This Morning Entertainment segment. I'm Amanda Muhammad.
And I'm Kelly McDermott. Thank you so much for joining us.
Here in South Florida, rapper Lil TJ is out of jail at this hour after he was arrested following a brawl with former Migos rapper Offset. Doctors say Offset is now in stable condition after the incident at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida on Monday night. Police say Lil TJ was arrested on charges of disorderly conduct in operating a vehicle without a license, but fans originally speculated that he was directly connected to the shooting. Allegedly, he was involved in a fight prior to Offset getting shot at Hard Rock. It happened nearly 4 years after a Houston club owner, Patrick Xavier Clark, shot and killed his rapper groupmate Takeoff, and Lil TJ's lawyer told the Associated Press that he was not charged with any weapons or gun-related crimes, and in fact, he didn't even have a gun.
Across the pond, organizers canceled London's 2026 Wireless Music Festival on Tuesday after the United Kingdom Home Office blocked headliner Kanye West, legally known as Ye, from entering the UK. Ye was scheduled to headline all 3 days of the festival this July in London's Finsbury Park. The UK Home Office received Ye's electronic travel authorization on Monday and determined, quote, his presence would not be conducive to the public good. This comes after backlash from the UK politicians and Jewish groups following several years of Ye making anti-Semitic and racist comments. Several major brands, including Pepsi, pulled out of sponsoring the festival. In a statement from Ye's team, Ye says he wants to meet with members of the UK Jewish community and says, quote, I know words aren't enough. I'll have to show my change through my actions. If you're open, I'm here.
University of Miami students are bringing a classic comedy to life right here on campus. Reporter Rafaela Ochoa has a front row seat at the show and joins us live at the Theater Arts Building. Rafaela?
I'm here in front of the Theater Arts Building where theater students have been preparing for the opening of Young Frankenstein, which is a musical based on the film by Mel Brooks from 1974 that takes place in the original setting based off of Mary Shelley's 1818 Frankenstein. It uses comedic moments and over-the-top characters to show a different portrayal of the classic story. And I got a chance to go behind the scenes and look at that exciting process.
At the University of Miami, theater students are bringing a classic comedy to life with Young Frankenstein the musical.
It's a 1.5 month long commitment to the bit is essentially the rehearsal process. And it's so fun and joyous.
It's a large-scale production with more than 70 students and faculty involved, both on stage and behind the scenes. From building sets to designing costumes, students and faculty are working to bring every detail to life in just a few weeks.
Frankenstein, even in its original form, is really a story about creation. And I thought, what better way to explore that than to have everybody involved in the creation of the story.
Keeping students on stage as much as possible helps bring that idea of creation to life, while also giving them hands-on experience as future theater professionals. And beyond the comedy, the story also explores themes of identity and self-discovery.
This story is about embracing the parts of you that you've maybe learned to push down, whether that be your passions, your family, the parts of your personality that are generally not accepted.
And in the process, life begins to imitate art in the most rewarding way. And now I'm joined by Diego Rodriguez, who is an actor at the theater department, and he's playing Frankenstein's monster. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
I wanted to ask you, there's been a lot of iterations of this particular character. What do you hope to bring that is unique to you and unique to this particular production?
Well, this musical is such an over-the-top comedy that it's really important that I try to nail the fact that I am a big part of the joke of the show. So it is like playing up the ridiculousness of the character. And then also I'm hoping to be a little sympathetic for the audience as this character who was essentially just born and is a child in the mind and discovering what the world is like.
And if you want to see Diego and the rest of the cast, it will be playing at the Ring Theater from April 17th through the 24th. Reporting live from the Theater Arts Department, I'm Rafaela Ochoa.
Thanks, Rafaela. Here in South Florida, a unique thrift store is doing much more than selling vintage treasures and great deals. It's supporting women in the fight for their lives. I got the chance to speak with some of the ladies involved and learned more about their mission. Check it out. In the busy streets of Little Havana, there's a shop helping people find deals, unique clothing, and vintage goods. But the store has a far greater impact than you might see. Walk through the doors and you can find almost anything. Wedding dresses, antique furniture sets. At Bargain Box, their goal isn't profit, it's purpose.
Everything we get is donated, 100% donations. And then we sell it, and the money that we get goes into a fund, and we write grants to physicians, to researchers at the University of Miami.
Bargain Box works directly with the Women's Cancer Association of the University of Miami, meaning every dollar spent here circles back to something much bigger. Its impact, as those who work here will tell you, goes far beyond the price tag. For Lorianne, one of the many volunteers, that connection runs deeper than donating time.
I did not really start volunteering here until I personally got diagnosed with cancer, and so I fought that 6 or 7 years ago. And so then I thought, now I really need to give back.
Because giving back here is a continuous cycle, from the shoppers to the volunteers to the donors, everyone plays a role in this wonderful community.
But it takes a village. Like I said, we have great staff. They're wonderful, wonderful people. They are bilingual, so if we have customers that come in that don't speak English, they can still get service. And they're lovely, lovely people.
Robin and Lorianne both emphasize the same desire to care for their community through this organization. In Little Havana, that care looks like a thrift store. And the thrift store is just one piece of their larger mission to provide research funds, educate, and care for patients.
I really feel like we're helping other people, and that's a good feeling.
The Women's Cancer Association is also hosting a fundraising gala on April 25th at the Lakeside Exposition Center. You can support them and get tickets for their gala on their website at wcaofum.com. Bargain Box also accepts donations every Tuesday through Friday and is always looking for more volunteers to help with their mission. And if you've been anywhere near campus lately, you've seen the long lines for one local matcha spot. Reporter Jaden Coey takes a deeper dive into the small business turned big craze.
On a Friday morning, a line forms out the door. And it's not just Friday. Nearly every day, this Miami matcha cafe fills with students and locals. Honeyvale began in 2024 with two sisters, Ceci and Regina Alcobi, and a farmer's market stand. The concept was inspired by Ceci Alcobi's time abroad in Japan. And now the two sisters are bringing that cafe culture to Miami.
I feel like that's what the real business is, like when you enjoy what you're doing, but at the same time, it doesn't look like you're just asking for money. And that's what I enjoyed mostly from that experience in Tokyo.
Like many aspiring entrepreneurs, they faced worries and doubts about how to start a business.
That crazy idea that you're thinking, it's not crazy. I feel like we have this norm of if you go out of the norm, it's a crazy idea.
In just 2 years, Honeyvale has made a name for itself as the most popular food place on the University of Miami campus. Their stand grew to a truck that visits the campus weekly, to a full operating store in South Miami that makes thousands of matchas daily.
I love the vibe. I go to school in California, so we don't really have these type of coffee shops around. I don't know, a lot of young people, a very diverse menu.
But that satisfied customer comes at a price. Both Alcobi sisters are pursuing degrees at and understand the sacrifice that comes with that.
In this semester, I've been okay, I know I'm gonna have to work and finish working and then go home and then do school and you know what I mean, not have time for myself.
They've turned that hustle into a thriving brand, using social media and marketing to their advantage, from viral videos to unique drinks and baked goods. And with my mixer in hand, I sat down with co-founder Regina Alcobi to learn how to make one of their signature drinks, the banana bread matcha. It starts with some fresh ice and matcha, a tea traditional to Japan. But the flavor and sweetness comes from the banana bread syrup made in-house.
What's the ratio you think that made it so perfect? You had a perfect ratio of sweetness, of a little bit of bitterness with the matcha?
I want to say is a lot of places have banana drinks, but it doesn't taste caramelized in a way. It tastes kind of just like banana. I think this, I really wanted to capture the taste of banana bread while keeping it natural, not using artificial sweeteners.
Once you feel like you've tasted banana bread straight out of grandma's oven, the magic comes with the honey whip on top.
I just always loved meringue growing up. I was my mom just loves marshmallows. I don't know, my mom would just buy a bag of marshmallows at the supermarket, just put it on a fork and torch it. She loves meringue, lemon meringue pie and stuff. So I was how cool would it be to have a meringue on a matcha?
What Ceci and Regina define as success means more than money in the register or likes online. It goes back to the core of owning a business, building a community.
We built a community that people like to be part of, and that's basically our plan from day one.
While bringing a business to life takes investment from behind the counter, for these sisters, the journey is worth every sacrifice. And as the community surrounding Honeyvale continues to grow, the sisters are in it for the long game. Jaden Cohey, UMTV.
Thank you, Jaden. We're going to take a short break, but after, when we come back, we're here with the mayor of Coral Gables, Vince Lago.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Thank you for sticking with us. And right now, hope you're having a good morning. And we are with the mayor of Coral Gables, Vince Lago. How you doing?
Shay, it's a pleasure to be here. Incredibly impressed by the team that you have here at the University of Miami. It's truly an honor to be with you.
pleasure to have you with us today. And now, you are the youngest mayor to be elected to this office in 2021, 2 times over since then. How proud are you to have been able to serve this city?
Well, I was elected a 3rd time over last year in 2025, and last year we celebrated our centennial, which went hand in hand with the University of Miami. George Merrick was a visionary here in the city of Coral Gables, and he's the one that started the University of Miami and had a vision of building this great community. So to me, it's one of the greatest privileges of my life outside of being a father of 2 young girls. We live across the street on San Amaro Drive for the last 15 years to really be able to lead this community, lead it to the centennial and lead it to its next 100 years.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, part of what you've been able to do as mayor is be so accessible. Office hours, town halls, meeting with us today. How important and how do you factor in those comments, concerns that you hear from the public?
I'm happy you brought that up because something that I like to highlight. What a lot of people talk about, especially young professionals like yourself, look, I'm in my 40s, but all these young kids in their 20s and early 30s, you know, they're very disillusioned with politics, especially when you see what's happening at the federal level with the infighting between Democrats and Republicans. Both parties are to blame. It doesn't matter who is involved. What I like to see and why I ran for office, and I made a commitment when I ran, you know, we're going into my 14th year in public office. I was one of the youngest elected commissioners at that point. I was in my early 30s. I said, if I'm going to win this office and I'm going to have the privilege of serving this community, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do open office hours every single Friday starting at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to finish at 5. We've been doing that for 14 years, and it's something that it's incredible, and it's paid huge dividends for this community. We haven't missed a Friday. We've been working hard, meeting with residents, business owners, students, anyone who's interested to talk about Coral Gables or has an idea or can really tell us how we can be better. We've been doing it. Sometimes we've left at 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. We've had 30, 40, 50 people show up. We're dealing with issues as simple as a pothole that needs to be addressed to something as complex as legislation, which may take 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 years to bring to fruition. Case in point, the underline, which is an idea that came through discussions on open office hours. Also, we had an employee come to us and talk about the opportunity of doing in-home permitting for the disabled, for veterans, for single family members, for the elderly. We brought that idea to us at an Open Door Fridays. We worked on it for about a year, and now we do over 300 permits in home. So that's the purpose of meeting with these residents. To me, it's not only about the legislation, it's about being really accessible. And as people are more and more disenchantized with public office, I want to bring them back into public office. I want to bring young people like yourself to really think about the future. Maybe I'll look up at a career in public service. There's real opportunity to serve, and this community needs good public servants.
Mm-hmm. And one of those concerns in terms of, you know, the public is the expansion of housing, especially for like students here on the campus, you know, looking at housing, looking at ways to expand it. How do you work with the university to, for example, on projects like the replacement of Mahoney Pearson, while also not trying to keep Coral Gables?
Listen, I'm a big proponent of historic preservation, but we have to go through a process. We have a development agreement with the University of Miami, which we're currently working on with Manny Cadre, who's now leading the University of Miami, Joe Echevarria, Jose Mas, Rudy Fernandez. We're blessed to have great leaders at the University of Miami who've done great partnerships with the city of Coral Gables and are working hand in hand, really looking forward to the future. And what's the future about? The future is about you guys, about these students, both undergraduate, graduate students who are really looking to make an investment, not only in their education, because let me be very clear, when you invest in your education, you're investing in this community. Because I hope that when you graduate from the University of Miami, your next step is to not leave here and go back to wherever you came from. I want you to stay. And I was talking to students last night about that here at the University of Miami in student government. I want you to stay and be part of this community and take your tools and your talent and continue to elevate this community. We're the gateway to the Americas. We're the gateway to the world here in Miami. But in regards to housing, it's a major issue, especially as the cost of housing goes up in South Florida. And Coral Gables, as we all know, we've seen all the articles. It's incredibly expensive currently here. But I believe in free market. But what I've done is focus with individuals like Rudy Fernandez, Joe Echevarria, Manny Cadre. We've really focused on revamping the process and investing and making sure the city of Coral Gables is a partner in your efforts to build more housing. As you can tell, right next to my house, there's been a few thousand units that have been built here on the University of Miami campus, brand new housing for the students to enjoy. And that's something that we've been working on to really expedite the process and make it simpler. In regards to the historic preservation, we believe in always remembering and preserving our history, but we also want to make sure that if something is not historic, let's make room for something that's new and more modern, so it's more welcoming to families and especially the students that are going to call the University of Miami for 4, 6, 8, or maybe 10 years.
And especially a part of that livability. Coral Gables has kind of seen lows in crime over your time here. How have you kind of done to keep people here safe, while also just what in the future are you guys continuing to look at?
So before I got elected, we hadn't hired new positions. I'm not talking about hiring new police officers. We're constantly hiring new officers as they retire. We 5 years ago, I proffered legislation that put 15 brand new positions, new police positions into the police department. Right now, we have more police per capita than any city in Miami-Dade County. And from last year to this year, we have a drop in crime of about 14%. We're seeing some of the lowest crime rates in the last 30 years here in the City Beautiful. That's a blessing. You don't hear about, significant murders, major thefts, major crime. You hear about petty crimes, and we tell people be very careful. Over 60% of the car thefts occur because people are complacent. They get home from a long day of work or from a long day of studying, they leave their keys in the car, they don't lock their car. We tell people lock your cars. Make it more difficult for crimes to be committed. We're expanding the police department. Right now, we're at 100% census in regards to police officers. We've really worked on focusing on their pension needs. We now have a $10,000 bonus that we give to new incoming officers to bring them in. So we're making it very enticing to become a City of Coral Gables police officer. And also, let's be honest, just like it's great to go to the University of Miami, it's this paradise, it's also great to be an employee here at the City Beautiful. The residents are amazing, dealing with the students, they're incredibly respectful. We abide by the law. We believe in law and order, we back the blue. And I've been very clear as an elected official that we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure the students here at the University of Miami feel safe. You're coming to the best university in the United States, possibly the world. We wanna make sure that you enjoy this experience. So when you're done here, you say, I wanna stay in the city of Miami.
And I've surely enjoyed my time here with you. And quick, we got a very brief amount of time left. How do you, for the next 100 years, how can we as a community continue to lift this place up?
Well, continue to engage. I mean, we're seeing that University of Miami is a wealth of knowledge and is really a true partner with the city of Coral Gables. You've seen how the football team, how the medical school, how the baseball program, how the basketball program, how the students have taken charge. And they're really taking charge here in the City Beautiful. So we depend on the university and the University of Miami to get involved. So as a diehard Hurricane fan, as a season ticket holder, I'm asking for the students to come and see me at office hours, engage in our town halls. We need your advice, we need your guidance, because some of the greatest ideas, some of the greatest opportunities to really lead come from the young people.
And it's been great having a time with you. Hopefully in the next 100 years, got a campus stadium a little closer, but that'll do it for all the time we have for you today. Still ahead, Canes Kickstart will cover the baseball team's most recent series versus Virginia Tech, plus MK Easton and Luca Macciardi will bring you updates on the spring football season. Don't go anywhere.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Thanks for staying with us on UMTV this morning, and it's time for a Canes Kickstart, your Miami Hurricanes sports update. I'm Gavin Bishow. Starting on the diamond, the Hurricanes are back to 500 in ACC play after a series win over Virginia Tech. Let's take a look at Friday night's highlights. In the first inning, it started early with the scoring. Virginia Tech, an RBI triple from Ethan Ball, gave the Hokies a 1-0 lead, but the offense stopped there for VT. Miami answering back in the bottom of the second. Fabio Peralta with a 2-run triple down the first base line gave Miami a 3-1 lead, a part of a 5-run second, but the scoring did not stop for the Canes. How about 9 runs in the third inning, with the exclamation point being a Brylan West grand slam to left field. Miami went up a baker's dozen, 14-1. Rob Evans made sure to close the door on this ball game as he went 5 strong innings, 7 punch-outs, including the last one here against Ball on a front door breaking ball. Miami gets the 19-1 victory in 7 innings versus VT, and they win the series against the Hokies. And it sets up for a very big weekend set against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 1 spot above the Canes in the ACC standings. And as we enter the second half of the Canes baseball season, fans are now familiar with the team's faces that go to the battle on the ball field night in and night out. However, for one newcomer in the orange and green, his fight began long before he stepped on campus. As Vance Cheyenne warms up for practice at Mark Light Field, he lives out the dreams that he envisioned as a kid.
It was definitely always the goal to play college baseball. Like once I started to realize like I love playing this sport and that's when I'm like, all right, like I think I want to make this what I want to do the rest of my life.
The Hurricanes starting shortstop grew up in Lake Worth, Florida, just 60 miles north of Coral Gables. Vance was an extremely active kid until middle school when his family noticed he wasn't growing.
The pediatrician said it was, you know, he'll grow, it's fine, he's fine. And I'm like, oh no, it doesn't feel fine.
And 2 years later came devastating news.
There was a tumor on his pituitary gland.
The brain tumor revealed that Vance had been suffering from Cushing's disease, which can weaken muscles, cause hormone imbalance, and lead to increased stress. Doctors at the National Institute of Health in Maryland told the Cheyennes that surgery would help, but it came with major risks.
You could die. And oh, if you don't do this, you could die. I cried the whole time he was there. I literally was uncontrollable crying when they took him back.
The surgery was successful. Vance began his road to recovery and eventually returned to athletics.
It was definitely like a change in my body. I felt like a little tall little baby giraffe, but once everything started to get coordinated, it was definitely a big help.
Cheyenne transferred schools, rose to the top, and got to live out his dream of playing college baseball at USC Upstate in South Carolina. He was far from home, but not alone.
I just drove up for the whole season and followed to wherever they went and made my reservations and had a great time.
Vance's grandmother put over 20,000 miles on her car last year to support Vance while his parents worked in Florida. Following his sophomore year at Upstate, Miami called.
You see a really good player at a mid-major and you kind of wonder, why is he there? Why didn't he go to a bigger school, to high school?
And in his 4th game as a Cane, Cheyenne did something that he had never done before in his 3-year collegiate career.
And Cheyenne swings, lifts one, deep to left field, away, back and gone!
His first walk-off.
2-run home run!
I love watching guys that work hard and sacrifice so much. Watching it pay off and having success is a proud moment for me.
What up, man? What up, baby? Good? And last Saturday, Vance's story came full circle. He met Ridge Juneau, who underwent brain surgery in January.
And now Vance has an opportunity to be a hero to many, many kids that are going through what he went through and showing them that they have a chance.
I need to appreciate what I have in my life, that I'm still able to play baseball at this point and just kind of play for them and hopefully get back to them someday.
Cheyenne has been a crucial part of the Hurricanes' 25-8 record, with the team's sights set on Omaha. UM looks to make their first trip to the College World Series since 2016. Now, let's go to our in-studio analysts, Luca and MK, to bring us more from the Diamond and preview what fans can expect on the gridiron next year.
Thanks, Gavin. It's early, but it's never too early for Canes athletics, and baseball has kept us energized through the weekend. Luca, how's their pitching?
Yeah, well, against Virginia Tech, it was the starting pitching that really stole the spotlight. Start off Friday night with Rob Evans in a 5-inning performance, 7 punch-outs. And when you have a southpaw that can work that slider inside out on these hitters against the Hokies, you're going to love that. But then, how about on Sunday? Despite the loss and a rough going in the first, giving up 2 home runs, A.J. Siskar was able to get through 6 innings of ball and keep the Canes in that game with 8 strikeouts, 4 runs total, 8 of them earned. Miami couldn't get the win, but they get the series victory, and it's a very positive look moving on in ACC play. But MK, how has the bats look? Because that's really been the spark plug so far for this team.
Yeah, starting off against Virginia Tech, Derek Williams with a blazing bat. He has a solo home run to get the Canes on the board against Virginia Tech. Derek Williams is a 5th-year senior. His batting average is over 400. He has 13 home runs, 50 RBIs, and he just earned a mid-season award. And here comes Fabio Peralta with a 2 RBI triple to keep it going. That ball flies right past first base. Peralta has been a consistent starter for the Canes in his sophomore season with an impressive 34 RBIs, and here's a perfect example of that. And now finally Jake Ogden building off the momentum. Here comes Jake with a bang, the ball flying towards center field, and it's gone for a 2-run homer. Ogden is in his 2nd season with the Hurricanes. He has 5 home runs, and he was tabbed as ACC Player of the Week for the first time in his career after this series.
And now I want to bring back one of my favorite segments, Mooch's Matchups, as we look at what the Canes have left on the ACC slate going on this season. This weekend, they're going to face the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 2 teams fighting at around the 500 mark in the ACC. Should be a lot of fun, but I want to focus on these road trips. At Stanford on the West Coast, see how the time change affects that. A little bit of a rivalry for Alex Sosa as he returns to his former school at NC State. And then the Seminoles to end off the season. Going to be a lot of fun up in Tallahassee.
And now let's talk about Canes football and all the buzz. They are back in action for spring practice after their legendary run to the CFP National Championship at Hard Rock back in January, and the excitement continues with new faces. Offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson has been putting these Hurricanes to work, building wide receiver core around star Malachi Toney while bringing in Cooper Barkate from Duke, Vandrevis Jacobs from South Carolina, and Cam Vaughn from West Virginia. Head coach Mario Cristobal strives to carefully build off of last season's success when recruiting.
I think we've always been picky. We just now have a bigger pool to be picky from. So, yeah, success is dangerous if you don't handle it the right way.
But Miami's biggest score in the transfer portal came in the form of Duke quarterback Darian Mensah, who led the ACC in both passing yards and touchdowns en route to a conference title with the Blue Devils. Mensah's been impressing early on this spring as he hopes to follow in the footsteps of former Canes like Cam Ward and Carson Beck.
Exciting times ahead at Marklight and Green Tree, but that's all the time we have this morning. Gavin, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Every day, kids across Miami-Dade hit the football field with the goal of one day playing on the college level. And Shea McDonald met with one group, helping them do just that.
Down, say go. 8th grader Alberto Estevez Jr. gets his reps in daily to improve his skills as a young quarterback driven to play in college. Motivated even more from his recent visit to the U.
It's a memory that I'll never forget. It's cool. It teaches me that I have to learn and be a leader and really try hard.
Estevez joined several young athletes on the trip as a member of the Miami-Dade program called the Hard Knocks Foundation. For 20 years now, the program mentors teen athletes from throughout the county. With weekly practices, 7-on-7 tournaments, and college visits, co-founder Derek Lester sees the impact daily.
Some of them pretty much raising themselves because the parents ain't never there. So a lot of times when they come here, we get a chance to help raise them and provide some positive into them,
Each practice, the coaches pass important life skills for the kids to take home with them. One of those, in this practice, tying a tie with a 2-time national champion, Darren Handy.
More money doing this than I did playing football. I'm doing good right now.
It means to me that our coach really cares about us. And he wants us to learn things even if we don't make it. We have, even if you don't make it, you still need to do things the right way. You still have to be a boss.
These lessons help the kids stay in school and away from violence. Coach Lester knows the danger and the cost too well.
We lost a kid, Moreland Goodluck. He was one of our football players to gun violence. And so that's what this means, guns down, books up. You know, read and understand, like, listen, if you stimulate your mind, you won't need a gun.
And on days like this one, in a scrimmage with an older flag football team, the Hard Knocks kids showed they could tackle any adversity. And putting in the work each day makes these moments feel even more deserved.
I love football, so I practice this day in and day out, and like that's just like I'm expecting that.
With an invite to the prestigious Elite 11 Academy, Alberto is well on his way to making a name for himself as he pursues his goals on the high school level. And as a result of Hard Knocks, that goal line is just a little bit closer. Shane McDonald, UMTV.
1, 2, 3. And after the break, Taryn Jacobs sits down with 2 University of Miami Hall of Famers to talk about the changing landscape of college athletics. You are watching UMTV This Morning.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that and make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the first did, Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at, where you at, on the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Pop.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Welcome back to UMTV This Morning. I'm Taryn Jacobs, and today we are inside the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame. I'm joined by 2 Hall of Famers, Coach Mike Ward and Jody Applebaum-Steinbauer, and they are both very experienced in the world of University of Miami athletics. Coach Mike Ward coached track and field here for 16 years, training athletes like Ed Reed and Andre Johnson. And Jody Applebaum-Steinbauer, a 4-time All-American in women's tennis, only one of 3 in program history to earn the honor in all 4 years. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We're gonna dive into just how much college athletics has changed over the years. So first, I'll start with you, Jody. When you were a college athlete here, it's almost like the life of a student athlete looks entirely different. So what would you say from the time, talk about your time as an athlete, the day-to-day versus kind of what you see now with these athletes?
Yes. Changed tremendously. Remember, I graduated in 1978. I believe it was in 1972 so when Title IX was passed. University of Miami actually was one of the first schools to offer women's scholarships, athletic scholarships, and I was one of the first to receive one of those scholarships. At the time, it was only for tuition. After my freshman year, we were able to get actually, it was President Stanford who was able to get us books, room and board. And a lot of schools weren't as proactive as University of Miami, so we still didn't have a lot of women's sports. So, you know, we didn't have a lot of competition that we could play against. We had most of our schools were in Florida, University of Florida, FSU, FIU. Of course, we didn't have the budget or money, so the trips weren't, you know, we would have to sell candy, turtles, you know, to be able to pay for the expense. But, you know, we went to nationals. I won the national women's doubles. There wasn't an NCAA for women. We had an organization called AIAW, and also the USTA, United States Tennis Association, ran nationals for the colleges. I mean, women's sports have just really come a long way. And I'm really proud that I was maybe at the beginning of it with the Title IX, and you know, it's been a thrill.
Yeah, of course. And then for you, Coach, I know you train a lot of younger athletes now. With all the shift in NIL, social media, transfer portal, have you kind of seen a change in maybe like the work ethic of these athletes and how they view competing in their sports when you're training them?
It's a much broader and it's a much year-round endeavor nowadays. Not that wasn't back in the day, but much more emphasis on a year-round situation where you're training year-round, where you're, if you're looking at high school athletes, they're looking at the whole spectrum of where to go, and then on the coaching side of it, you're looking at a big change in how people are recruited. I mean, typically recruits, now that the COVID years have hit, there was more, you had up to 6 and 7 years of eligibility. You're getting athletes across, international athletes, much more significantly. The landscape has changed in the sense of the age of the student athletes and the things that, like in our sport, track and field. I mean, there's numerous athletes that are been in world championships and Olympic type situations that are coming in being recruited, whereas before, you're looking at a high school athlete that's kind of unfinished, and now you're getting finished athletes.
And then with the transfer portal, this is a question for either of you. I feel like back then, loyalty to a program was so important, staying at a program for all 4 years and building that team chemistry. So talk to me about what it was like back then and kind of how you see the shift of it now when players come to one school for 1 year and on to the next and so on and so forth.
I mean, you see it now. You go to our football games, you go to the guys that played before come back, whatever sport it is, they come back and they get involved and they're engaged. And I think that's huge because it sells the program. Miami has a good reputation of, once you're a Cane for life. So it's significant.
Right, the culture is really incredible here. And then one last question for you guys. If there was something from the time that you guys played, the era that you guys played in or coached in, what do you wish still almost existed today in college sports?
I think just the camaraderie and the engagement. For me as a coach here, the student athletes, myself, we talk to this day, we had a blast. I mean, we just had a great time, and we were winning all the time then, and we just took it for granted. We just thought that was the way things were. You just, now we look back on it, we're like, oh my gosh, something significant things were happening there, but we just, we perceived that was the norm.
I would have to agree with that. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we all pretty much got along, and I'm sure they do now. Looks like they have fun now, the teams I'm seeing. I would say tennis has changed tremendously from when I played to now, the rackets and the technology.
I'm sure. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate your perspective on all of this and the changing times of college sports. So thank you again. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Taryn. Earlier, we heard from the Molotov Mocktails live at the school communications courtyard, and now we're going to head back outside with Penelope to learn a little more about them.
Thank you, Shay, and thank you, Andy and the guys, for bringing some energy to our Wednesday morning. First things first, I have to ask, why do you guys call yourselves Molotov Mocktails?
Yeah, I have to give the credit to my girlfriend on that one. She's the editor-in-chief of the Mangrove Journal here, all that. She does a lot of poetry and stuff, so we couldn't think of a name. I was like, I know the exact person to call, and I got a list of names like in the next morning with like 15 of them. So that was my favorite, and they all liked it too, so we stuck with it.
And then what brought you guys together as a band?
Yeah, I met Sebastian, our singer, in math class, actually. It's funny because we're in the same major, but we actually met in math class. And we wanted to make a band our entire freshman year, but nothing really came together. I met Leo, our guitarist, at a party last semester where there was live music, and he just introduced himself, and I just got his phone number, and I called him the next day, and he was like, let's just have a rehearsal this weekend. And then Zion, our bassist, I knew him from last year, and I knew he was the right guy to call to kind of fill the whole thing out, so it all came together pretty seamlessly.
Thank you so much. And still ahead, Molotov Mocktails will be back for one more performance right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Are vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending,
No.
honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Unplug it, just on your side.
Phenomenal job, guys. Clearly no rain can stop your shine, but when we come back, a wild ride with Johnny Mustian as he joins us live from the zoo. Don't go anywhere.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
In recent years, artificial intelligence has become a big thing in our daily lives, and now it's making an impact on its way into schools. And as Brian Matute tells us, at one Hialeah school, students are getting a first-hand look at what the future of learning could be.
This also suggests using small nuclear reactors that can provide...
Inside an everyday classroom in Hialeah, one school brings students face-to-face with the future.
When I saw her, everything changed.
Students at KidWorks USA get to meet a new friend, Captain Pepper, a brand new AI teaching assistant built to match the school's pirate spirit. And their reactions? All over the map.
I was like kind of scared. I was shocked. I was really happy.
The idea comes from founder Bill de la Sierra, who wanted to reimagine the traditional classroom. After seeing how a robot could interact live with students, support teachers, and keep kids engaged, bringing in a new captain just made sense.
Well, a robot that has the ability to access ChatGPT instantly can answer any question that any student has, and it's in a fun way.
And Pepper is evolving, adding new features and constant updates since her introduction in February. What started as a test run becomes a real tool in the classroom.
So that helps me to be more productive in my class because the class is only 45 minutes.
And even with the extra help, teachers will never have to walk the plank.
Robots are never going to replace teachers. They're never going to replace the human being. But they're going to be such an assistant.
Pepper has become a staple at KidWorks in just a few short months, but her impact could go far beyond the classroom.
AI is going to be something that, whether you like it or not, is going to be in your life in the future. And I think exposing kids to that early on is going to be influential and is important.
For these students, it will be a moment they won't forget. And for educators, it may be a glimpse into a future where technology doesn't just support the classroom, it shapes it.
It makes learning fun.
Brian Matute, UMTV.
Thank you, Brian. Today is National Zoo Lovers Day, where many animal sanctuaries recommend locals to visit their facilities to learn more about wildlife.
And right now, Johnny Mustin joins us live at Zoo Miami with the latest on the festivities. Johnny?
Well, guys, if you haven't been to Zoo Miami already, trust me, you're going to want to add this to your bucket list. They just celebrated their 45th anniversary, and in that time, they've been home to thousands of animals, including 40 endangered species. And earlier this week, I had the chance to tour around Zoo Miami to check out what they have to offer for National Zoo Lovers Day.
Zoo Miami first opened its doors back in 1980 in South Dade, and currently it is home to 2,000 animals in its 750 acres. And before you even make your way through the gates, you have a chance to view a flamboyance of flamingos. Or, if you're me, you'll try your best to talk to them. They clearly weren't too interested in what I had to say. After getting inside, your eyes immediately dart to the new tiger expansion, even though today, the tigers decided to sleep in. Luckily, I had an idea to get them out.
Now, this morning, our buddy isn't really coming out, but don't worry. I'm sure if we get a little bit of bait, he'll be out here just in time.
I feel like I'm standing pretty close.
Although we were not able to see the tigers, we certainly ran into our fair share of animals. And, as someone who's into zoology, I tried my best to expand my knowledge with all the ones we did have a chance to meet.
And these guys have made quite the trip from home. Originally from Vietnam, the Ban Tang can weigh up to 1,100, all the way up to 1,700 pounds. And as you can see behind me, they're in quite the relaxing habitat here with bird noises in the background, reminding them of their Southeast Asian roots.
And if I don't sound educated enough, maybe this will convince you.
Now we've got quite the beaut specimen right here. The Cuban crocodile found its way back home into Miami, but they are absolutely beautiful creatures.
Impressed? I thought so. As we made our way deeper into the zoo, the larger the animals got. From the bright orange Asian elephant all the way to the lion's den, a place where I certainly fit right in.
And one interesting fact here about the African lions is that their roar can be heard up to 5 miles away. How about I give it a try? Roar! Roar! What do you think, guys?
Intimidating, right? Trust me, I know. The one species that I wouldn't have a chance of intimidating, though, was the rhinoceros, which is commonly referred to as one of the strongest animals in the world. Or, as Zoo Miami calls them, chubby unicorns. After making our way through Asia, viewing everything from the Komodo dragon to the spotted dog, we made our way to the scariest area of the zoo. And at the aviary, I tried again to discuss more current events with the different kinds of birds, but learning about how the birds communicate is no easy task. And after a riveting conversation, I decided to get another special one-on-one interview with a different member of the Zoo Miami community.
So what's your favorite part about living here at Zoo Miami? Is it the food? Is it the culture, the workers? It's a little camera shy.
At the end of the day, the main thing that we learned during our trip to the zoo was that it doesn't just teach us about the animals. It also teaches us about ourselves by allowing us to tap back into our childhood. And even though all of our interviewees weren't ideal, our day was, and I would call that a real success.
Unfortunately, there is one person you won't be able to see again after this spring here at Zoo Miami. Longtime Director of Communications, wildlife photographer, and friend of UMTV, Ron McGill, announced his retirement earlier this year. McGill, though, leaves a strong impact here at Zoo Miami with the creation of his Ron McGill Conservation Endowment back in 2015. And after 40 years of really hard work and plenty of on-camera interviews, McGill might be retired, but his legacy will certainly stay strong here in South Florida. Live at Zoo Miami for UMTV, I'm Johnny Muschin.
Thank you, Johnny. And speaking of retirement, it usually means trading in long work days for relaxation. But in today's economy, the high cost of living is forcing many seniors to rethink their retirement plans. Lázaro Chavez introduces us to one South Florida bartender who says clocking in is about much more than just survival.
I know, but 25. At first glance, this bar in Oakland Park, Florida looks like any other bar. It's filled with people looking to unwind after a long day. And while a younger crew takes the night shift, it's the person behind the bar during the day that helps set the tone. Margie Sadowski is 92 years old, and she's still working here 4 days a week. She's been in the bar business for over 50 years, even owning her own bar in her 20s.
I owned a bar, the Ragdoll on Prospect. I've had a big bar in the bowling alley, but I've always been in the bar business. I started when I was 22.
In fact, she told me she doesn't even like alcohol. Today, it's not just about staying active. Margie says it's also about getting by.
Everybody's on Social Security. You figure these elderly people, and especially with these prices going up, it takes two people to work.
And Margie isn't alone. Over 74% of senior citizens felt that age was a barrier to work. In Fort Lauderdale, roughly 26% of them are employed. Many stay in the workforce longer due to rising costs of rent, groceries, and insurance premiums. Margie's husband Donnie knows the struggle firsthand. After working for decades as a meat cutter, he was turned away when he wanted to go back.
I went back to Publix and tried to get a job back as a part-time meat cutter. What they call AI machinery is taking a lot of the jobs away from the meat cutters.
For Margie, work isn't just about money. It's about purpose and people.
She just makes everybody feel like they're family. She's a family figure, a mother figure, and she just treats us like her own.
At this bar, Margie is more than a bartender. She's a friend, a listener, and a constant shoulder to lean on. And for her, stopping really isn't an option.
If you didn't have a job and all day long, you just sat home, and I go crazy home. I like work. I don't want to sit home and wait to die.
In a time when more Americans are redefining what retirement looks like, Margie Sadowski is living proof that for some, work isn't just a paycheck. It's a purpose. For UMTV, I'm Lázaro Chavez.
Thanks, Lazaro. And now for some exciting news. California's famous bald eagle pair, Jackie and Shadow, have welcomed 2 new family members. One Sunday, Big Bear Valley's bald eagle nest got a little bit fuller. The 2 fluffy eaglets hatched just 12 hours apart, making Jackie and Shadow long-awaited parents. Fans of the San Bernardino's favorite players gathered at the park to catch the first glimpses of the new family. Per tradition, the eaglets will be named by local 3rd graders, but for now, they're just Chick 1 and Chick 2.
Well, that is all the time we have on UMTV this morning. We hope we got your day started off right.
Thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.